Vete Latin 2. It's Magister Hodges, and this is the Sacri Pulli study guide. And this is me creating the answer key, which will then be available separately as a Google Doc. I'm going to talk through each of the answers, and hopefully it'll help you better understand if you were challenged by anything. Hopefully my explanations will help. As we go on, I may speed up a little bit just to, try and keep this within 15 minutes because it's kind of a lengthy study guide. So, without further ado, let's start at the top here. First question you will have on your test is to fully decline noun-pronoun pairs and then translate them. So, the example we have here is hic Polaris, which is this chicken keeper. So we're going to start by identifying the gender of Polaris and then using the and then supplying the proper versions of hic. So, since hic or Polaris rather is second declension masculine, we know that we're going to use the masculine version of hic. So if you find the masculine column on the hic-hic-hoc chart, you are just going to work your way down and fill in from there. So this chicken keeper is hic Polaris to say, and we're going to make it genitive. The genitive version of hic is hoius, regardless of the gender, and the the dative version of hic is huic. We'll get to what all these mean here in a minute. The accusative masculine is hunk, hoc. Then we go over here, plural, he, horum, his, hos, his. All right. Now we got to figure out how to do the proper declension of Polaris. So I'm going to pause this video real quick while I go and pull up the chart to help you guys navigate. All right. Well, I am on my slides of my declension charts now. So first, we have to look at the word Polaris and figure out what declension it is. On the test, you will be given the first two principal parts, which for this word will be Polarius, Polarii. And so using the ending of that second part, you can determine what declension the noun belongs to, and therefore all the endings it will take in the different cases, singular and plural. So Polarius, Polarii, Polarii ending with an I. So I'm looking for the declension that has us when it's nominative singular and I when it's genitive plural. So first declension, nominative singular A, AE. Well, it's not that. Second declension, US, I. Hey, Polarius, Polarii, Coquus, Coqui. I know that this noun is now second declension, so I know what endings I'm going to put on it. So I will, let's see, would it help to split this side by side? Yeah, probably. Show you guys, if you're looking at it side by side, what it would look like. All right. So, Polarius, Coquus, that looks right. Hoius, Polarii, Polarii. So I'll go ahead and translate as well. So the genitive, and as you can tell on the charts over here, it tells you how these are, how each case is translated. So hoius Polarii would be of this chicken keeper. I may shorten this chicken keeper to CK. All right, so now we're down to the dative. Huic, and I look over here, co-quo, hic Polario, to or for this CK. Hunk, that's our accusative. So by looking over here at the declension chart, I know that hunk, or Polarius, the accusative, is Polarium, and that would be just this chicken keeper as receiving the action. All right, now we got the ablative here, and as I can see over here on my chart, it's going to end with O, so hoc Polario, and that will be from, with, in, or by the chicken keeper. You can shorten this to fwib if you want. All right, over here in the plurals, I know he is these. To say these chicken keepers, I'll say he Polarii, following the plural endings over here. And this will mean these chicken keepers. Horum, genitive plural. So I can look over here at the side. Polarorum. That's quite the mouthful. Of these chicken keepers. His, dative plural. I can look over at my chart and see is his Polariis will be to or for these chicken keepers. Great. All right. Hos, coquos. These chicken keepers receiving the action, and then the ablative plural, his Polariis, very similar to the dative. Fwib. these chicken keepers. And I realize over here I just said the should be this. My bad. Oh, goodness. It's falling apart, y'all. All right. So that is how you say all the different forms of this chicken keeper over here. All right, now we're going to look over here at ila nawis. On your test, you will see the first two principal parts of a word like nawis, and it is nawis, nawis. So I am looking at the nominative and the genitive singular to see what matches with nawis. I am looking for an is in the genitive singular. So first declension, genitive singular is an ae, not going to do that. Over here, genitive singular is an I, not going to do that. This is just second declension neuter. Definitely not that. Third declension. Boom. Found it. Notice how up here my example says rex. Remember, the nominative singular of the third declension can be literally anything. So that's why it's important to look at the genitive singular. In this case, nawis is the same when it's both nominative and genitive. And I realize I'm kind of doing this backwards, but I've already started explaining the how to do the declension. So we're going to do the noun first, then all the forms of illa or that second. It's not ideal, but I'm not going back and remaking this video. So looking at this example over here, I'm just going to follow it down like I did on the last one. The endings have changed. So I'm going to go with nawis. Dative, it will be nawi. Accusative will be nawim. Oops, nawim. Ablative will be nawe. Going over here to the plural, we got nawes, nawum, nawibus, nawes, nawibus. Okay, so now we got to go find all the forms of that. Now, if you flip over to your pronoun chart, which I've been having trouble pulling up for whatever reason, so I'm not able to show you, you're going to be looking at the forms of ile, ala, alud. In this example, on your test, you'll see what the gender of the noun is next to it as a singular letter. M, F, or N for masculine, feminine, or neuter. In this case, we can tell that nawis is feminine because we're using illa here. So I'm going to use all the different versions of, as I go down the feminine column of the ille, or of the illa chart. I'm going to use the feminine ones. It's going to be illa with a macron. I'm just going to put the star next to it to show it should be a long A. And then over here in the plural, got these. Oops. And then Elise. Okay. So I just did that. That's by following down the middle column of the ille, illa, alud chart. So now let's translate them. Ilias nawis would be of that ship. Ilinawi, 2 or 4. Oops, 2 or 4 of that ship. Ilam nawim would just be that ship receiving the action. Shio. Ila nawe, or ila nawe, would be from, with, in, or by the, that ship. Ilai nawes, those ships doing the action. Ilaram nawim, of those ships. Ilis nawibus, 2 or 4 of those ships. There you go. Ilaz nawes, those ships receiving the action. Ilis nawibus, from, within, or by those ships. Boom. All right. So we're done there. That is the chart. That is the process, how you figure that out. You will be able to use your chart on the test. So hopefully you paid attention to how you use the chart. So now we're down here in the sentences. And on this I say give the translation. On the test itself, it is going to be different forms of matching or filling in the blank with the proper word. So on and so forth. So just being able to translate these and know what they mean will be very helpful for you. So I'm going to start here and just kind of just give you all the translation and point out any things that are weird. So I'm going to start here with Romai habito. That means I live for habito, Romai, in Rome. This is actually a weird thing. It only happens with the names of cities. So in this case, just remember that Romai, it can be genitive, it can mean of Rome or 2 or 4 Rome or Romes, even though you would never say Romes. But in this case, habito Romai, this is just a special form that means that this is where you live. It's just something to remember. It will be on the test, so just keep that in mind. Negotium viro est, quibum et aquam nobis dare. Negotium viro est literally means the job for the man is, or as we could say in better English, the man's job is quibum et aquam nobis dare. So we're going to start back here. Dare. His job is to give nobis, us, or to or for us, food and water. Nobis there is dative, showing that the food is being given to us. So you could say he gives food and water to us as well. That may be simpler. All right. Valde nobis placet aquam bibere. All right, so the word placet is another weird one, and it literally means to be pleasing or is pleasing. So this really means like really to us is pleasing water to drink, or we like, for placet nobis, it is pleasing to us, we like, and then we throw in the valde, we really like, bibere, to drink, aquam, water. All right. Aliquando Marcus non simil sed bis quibum mihi dat. Aliquando, sometimes Marcus gives dot food quibum mihi, to me, non simil sed bis. Oops, not once, but twice. Haec potestas nostra est. Haec, this? Ah, yes. All right, power. This power, haec potestas nostra est, is ours. Or you could also say some form of like, this is our power, or something like that. All right. Quod hanc potestatem magnum habemus, viri non nos sed alios polos edunt. All right, so quod means because, and then there's no subject here. There's nothing nominative. So we're going to look at the verb. The ending is mus. That tells us that we are the ones doing it, because we have hanc potestatem magnum, this great power. Viri non nos sed alios polos edunt. So over here we do have a nominative. The men, the men don't, edunt, eat, nos, us, sed alios polos, but other chickens. So because we have this great power, the men don't eat us, but other chickens. Any form of that would be okay. Don't need that comma there. All right. For chapter 2, negotia mihi, similar to the top. Literally, this says the job for me is, but I'm just going to say my job is polos curare et auspicia referre. Curare polos, to care for the polos, the chickens, and auspicia referre, to report, referre, auspicia, the omens. Dei deaeque eos amant et potestatem magnam polistant. Dei deaeque, the gods and goddesses. Eos amant, love them, talking about the chickens, and no nominative over here, so we're just referring back to the gods and goddesses, so we can just say, and they give the chickens, or we can do it this way, and they give potestatem magnam, great power, pullis, dative, to the chickens, dative plural. Fermentum pullis sacris valde placet. So we got valde placet here. Someone really likes. The thing that is doing the liking is going to be dative, because it literally translates as it is really pleasing to the sacred chickens, grain. Or the sacred chickens really like grain, fermentum. Saipe non simil sed bis quibum picio do. Saipe, often, do, I give, picio, to Picius, which is the name of the big chicken. Quibum, food, non simil sed bis, not once, but twice. Tunc pullus quibum edentes specto. Tunc, then. Then there's no nominative, so we're going to look at the verb, ends with an O, so we know it's I watch. Polos, polos quibum edentes. I watch the chickens. Edentes is a weird form of the word edit for eat, and it's called a participle, and it means eating, and they're eating food. And I wrote keep them. That's awesome. All right. Doesn't this cough sound great, y'all? Get over the Rona, and then get allergies. Ubi nos quibum pullis damus et pulli quibum edere volunt dei deaeque sunt laeti. Ubi, when we, oops, my bad, that's not true. Nos is actually accusative here. We can tell by the verb here, volunt ends with an nt. It's going to be when they want to eat, edere, quibum, the food, which is accusative, so we know it's being eaten. Oh, I done goofed here. I looked way too far in the sentence. I'm sorry. The first verb